Hey guys, my name is Tom and welcome back to another devlog. In this one, I'll be getting to work on ship mechanics. That means stuff like raising and lowering the sail as well as adjusting its angle. Unfortunately, I didn't make a huge amount of progress in this devlog because, well, you'll find out in a moment. This week I took a bit of a break from development. I wasn't really planning to take a break, it kind of just happened, and I want to take a moment to talk about staying motivated, being productive, and continuing to push through even when you want to quit. If you're not interested in this and would rather skip to the actual development in this devlog, I'll put a timestamp on the screen here. Anyways, I've received a mix of comments recently, some of which were encouraging me to keep going, and others were asking me how I stay motivated week after week. The truth is, I don't. When you're watching these devlogs, it's probably easy to think that I'm always motivated and ready to be productive, but in reality, that's not the case. While I tend to share my frustration when I'm stuck, I usually don't mention how much I procrastinate, mainly because it's not something I'm super proud of. I'm not superhuman, and I have trouble staying motivated sometimes just like everyone else. I took a break for an entire month during the summer because I wasn't really enjoying working on this project. In hindsight, I'm glad that I did take that break because when I came back I felt a lot more inspired and I didn't have to force myself to make progress every day like I was before. This Monday was a bit of a struggle for me. I woke up feeling completely unmotivated to do anything and I ended up procrastinating way too much, which just made me feel worse. I found that if I was planning to do something productive on a certain day and then I don't end up actually doing something productive, I tend to feel almost guilty in a way. On Monday, I did nothing productive and it felt terrible. Despite the fact that I didn't make any progress on Tuesday either, I didn't feel guilty at all, simply because I decided beforehand that it wasn't my goal to get anything done that day. What I'm trying to say is that if you're at all like me, you might find yourself pushing on and on because you feel like you should be productive on a daily basis. And don't get me wrong, it's good to be consistent, and if you're struggling to make progress, it's often helpful to make it a goal to do at least a little bit every day. However, it's just as important to notice when you need a break, and then to actually take it. I think it's safe to say that there's at least one person watching who needs to hear this. It's okay to take a break. It's okay to take a day, or several, and not be productive during that time. Game development is a creative hobby, and as such, forcing it won't work in the long run. And honestly, I think this applies to any kind of creative work, not just game dev. Taking a step back for a bit allows you to breathe and see the bigger picture, which is crucial if you want to finish whatever project you're working on at the moment. Getting stuck in the daily grind can cause you to lose sight of the finish line, which is a big problem if you actually ever want to get there. As for why I felt so unmotivated to do anything on Monday and Tuesday, I think there's a few reasons. First, I wasn't really sure what to work on next. I did put up a poll at the end of the last devlog to see what you guys think I should prioritize, but it ended up being a tie between client prediction and ship mechanics. Basically, indecision played into it, although I was leaning towards ship mechanics even before I put up the poll, so it's not like I was completely undecided. However, I recently finished implementing things like syncing ships and the day-night cycle, so I was moving on to something new. Once I start, it's usually fine, but I tend to procrastinate starting bigger things which sort of loom over me. Maybe some of you can relate, but that's my experience. Additionally, I graduated from high school in June, which means this was the first September that I didn't have to go back to school in a very long time. When I had to go to school for 6 hours every day, I would come home and try to maximize the time I had left. Even then I spent way too much time procrastinating, but now without the structure that comes with going to school, I've subconsciously treated the last few months like a sort of extended summer break. That means going to bed later than I'd like, waking up late, and just generally being undisciplined and unintentional with my time. That needs to change. I want to start planning my days out beforehand, which I think will help a ton. Anyways, those are some of my thoughts about staying motivated and being productive, but I'd love to hear your opinions on this, so let me know what you think in the comments below. There's a lot more I could say regarding this topic, but to avoid going on and on in this video, which is supposed to be a devlog, I think I'll save that for its own video. Although I once again didn't really do much work on the project today, I did set up a spreadsheet and plan out what I want to do tomorrow. As I was doing this, it dawned on me just how much time I was really wasting. It's kind of mind-blowing to see it all laid out like that. It's shortly after 7 in the evening now, and I've just finished making it possible to adjust the length and angle of the ship's sail. There's still quite a few things I need to tweak, like how fast it can be adjusted. Since raising the sail currently just changes the scale on the y-axis, it scrunches towards the center, which looks pretty dumb, but I'll fix that tomorrow. I really struggled to be productive again today. I didn't end up planning out the day beforehand, which I had intended to do last night. I was hoping some of my momentum from yesterday would carry through to today, and it did to an extent, just not nearly as much as I expected. Having a list of when I'm going to do what really helps remove any indecision about what I want to work on, and it introduces deadlines to the process, which helps me focus. I think there's a lot of truth to what is known as Parkinson's law, which is the idea that work expands so as to fill the time available for its completion. Basically, the more time you give yourself to do something, the longer it will take you to do that thing. It's like when you get a school project that's due in 2 weeks, but then the next thing you know is that you've got 1 day left and you haven't started. If I decide that I want to implement a certain feature by the end of a specific devlog, I'm giving myself a 2-week deadline and I don't feel any sort of pressure to get it done until about 3 days prior. By planning out my day and deciding very specifically what I want to have done at what time, I feel that pressure pretty much as soon as I start because I've only given myself an hour or two to get the thing done. When I know I need to get something done, it's a lot easier to sit down and actually do it without procrastinating and getting distracted. At least for me, a huge cause of procrastination is definitely vague deadlines. If you feel like that might be the case for you as well, I suggest writing down what you want to get done by what time every day for a week. Make sure to be as specific as possible and then see if you're more productive. I obviously don't have this all figured out yet, and it's definitely going to take continuous conscious effort to plan out my days in advance before it becomes a habit, but I think this may just be one of the most underrated methods out there for overcoming procrastination. However, I did fix the sail shrinking towards the center, and it now looks like it actually gets pulled up. Obviously, this solution is temporary, and at some point in the future, I'll either animate the sail or use some sort of cloth physics. I'm not sure yet about which one will work better. I've also adjusted the speeds at which you can raise, lower, and turn the sail. This will require more tweaking in the future, but I think it's a good starting point for now. It's shortly after 7 PM on Thursday evening now, and I just finished making ship speed dynamic. Instead of it moving at a certain speed regardless of the sail length, sail angle, and wind direction, all of those are now used to calculate the amount of propulsion the sail provides. This took way longer than I anticipated, largely because of a stupid mistake on my part. I had the necessary code in place pretty quick, except I didn't realize that one of the methods I was using took its angle parameter in radians, and I was passing in degrees, which caused my ship to sometimes move backwards. It took me several hours to realize that, but I'm glad it's all sorted out now. Currently, I have it set up so that sailing directly into the wind is impossible, much like in real life, meaning you'd have to tack back and forth if your destination is upwind. However, I'm not sure if I'll keep it this way, mainly because it's pretty inconvenient and I can see it being a huge pain if you want to go upwind. I do like the fact that it's realistic, but I don't know if it's worth it. This is a game after all, and games are supposed to be fun. I think I'll have to leave it there though for this devlog. Tomorrow I'll be editing this video, and then I need to do a bit more testing and potentially make some tweaks to my UDP solution so I can include any necessary changes in the next part of the networking tutorial series. As always, if you enjoyed the video, please take a moment to smash the like button. Also, let me know your thoughts on overcoming procrastination and staying motivated. I read and respond to all the comments, and I'd love to hear some other tips and opinions. I think in the next devlog I'll make it possible to raise and lower the anchor, and I'll probably finish up a bunch of smaller tasks. Ships need physical holes when they're shot, I need to rotate the colliders for cannons and the mast, and I might look into decreasing the wave height in shallow water around islands. If you're interested in joining me on this development journey, make sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell so you're always notified when I upload another video. With that said, thank you so much for watching, I really appreciate it, and I'll see you again next time.